The term expressionism comes from the word express. To express means to articulate. To express means to convey one's thoughts, one's feelings. To express means to communicate what is within oneself. To express means to externalize the internal. They say that success has many fathers. Something very similar is true of expressionism. But personally, I feel that the father of expressionism is the great Dutch painter Vincent Willem van Gogh, who revolutionized modern painting by creating such masterpieces as sunflowers, rain, the cottage, the potato eaters, and starry night. Expressionism originated in Europe, especially Northern Europe, and from painting, the phenomenon spread to sculpture, dance, cinema, poetry, and drama. In literature, the important contributors to Expressionism include August Strindberg, George Kaiser, August Stram, Franz Werfel, Eugene O'Neill, and Elmer Rice. If we have to summarize Expressionism in one word, it is anti-realism. Fundamentally, Expressionism is a revolt against realism, a revolt against naturalism. The Expressionists hold that there is no point in attempting to capture the outer reality in physical terms. There is no point in trying to represent the external reality in natural terms, because the outer reality is known to the artist only through his subjective internalization of the same. Hence, in order to represent the external reality in accuracy, the artist, instead of looking outward, has to look within himself, has to comprehend his own subjective experience of the outer reality, and has to express that subjective experience. The Expressionists held that The outer reality, the external reality is known to us only through our own internal experience of the same. And in order to represent, in order to capture, in order to represent the outer reality, what we have to do is to express our own subjective internal experience. The expressionists are concerned more with the general truths than with the particular details. They hold that the general truths are more important than the specific situations, and that the only way to reach these general truths is to graph the psychological reality, the spiritual reality, the emotional reality of the experience of the individual. Aristotle called man a rational animal, but the expressionists hold that there is much in the human being which is irrational, illogical, and many of the characters in expressionist literature are persons who seem to behave, seem to act in ways that go against rationality as understood by most people. In fact, many of the important expressionist characters appear to be controlled by fears, anxieties, compulsions, emotions, which seem to be spectacularly irrational. Expressionist writers love to introduce spectacular shifts, dramatic changes in the levels of life, in the levels of reality in their work. For example, in The Emperor Jones of Eugene O'Neill, we find Brutus Jones, the emperor, at the beginning of the play. In the middle of the play, he is a fugitive. At the end of the play, he is a limp, dead body. The expressionist writers are frequently obsessed with the meaning of life, the detailed description of the external reality, the close graphing of the outer reality will not be sufficient to answer the fundamental questions regarding the meaning of life. By just describing closely, in a detailed manner, the physical reality of the world, no writer can answer the question, what does life mean? In their pursuit of the problem of the meaning of life, the expressionists adopted a completely anti-realistic, anti-naturalistic approach, hoping to reach somewhere near the answer to the question, whether life has any meaning. To the question, what is the meaning of life? There was a time when I used to teach the Emperor Jones of Eugene O'Neill. I used to enjoy it immensely. O'Neill makes use of expressionistic techniques brilliantly in the play. The play is the story of a black man called Brutus Jones who establishes an empire in an unnamed Caribbean island, and how the empire collapses, how the emperor is compelled to flee, and how finally the emperor, the fugitive emperor, is assassinated. Brutus Jones is troubled not only by his personal past, but also by his familial past, by his racial past. The expressionist writer frequently attempts to demonstrate that the human being is not something like a computer, not a rational animal as Aristotle claimed, but an entity very much under the control of impulses, not only from his own psyche, not only from his own life, but from much more remote points of origin. And these impulses, you must remember, are frequently of a strikingly irrational nature. There was also a time when I was teaching the adding machine of Elmer Rice, and the adding machine has been called a landmark of American Expressionism. The adding machine is the gripping story of Mr. Zero's trial, conviction, execution, and afterlife. It may appear that the adding machine of Elmer Rice is more anti-realistic, more anti-naturalistic than the Emperor Jones of Eugene O'Neill. But the fact is that the narrative of the adding machine throws brilliant light on the existence of every individual who is a cog in the vast machine that is an industrialized society. The ultimate goal of the expressionist writer is to probe the interior in order to capture the exterior. The expressionist writer believes that any attempt to capture the exterior realistically, to capture the exterior naturalistically, to capture the exterior per se is bound to fail because the exterior is known, experienced, comprehended only through the interior. The expressionist writer uses uses a number of devices to assist him in this process of delving deep into the interior in order to reflect accurately the exterior. These devices include the music in Death of a Salesman of Arthur Miller, the tom-tom in The Emperor Jones, and the masks in The Adding Machine.